Giggity.
Hey, welcome all. We finally started tonight, so we're ready for a good show. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and let's see. It is 1:31 in the AM here, Sunday AM. We got Paul out there. Paul's with us for a little while.
Hi, we're running late tonight, and I have screen strain, so I'm solid Gilbert Godfrey tonight.
Squinty McSquint. And Johnny's out there. He's just getting home. He'll tell you all about his night in a little bit, and we'll give him a few minutes to get started. But Paul, how you been doing?
Life is good, man. I mean, I've been real busy. I've been doing a couple of one of the things that happens in November and December in Arizona is our summer is your winter. So when it gets cold and shit where you live, the temperature starts to drop here, and we actually do outdoor things. So I've been doing some motorcycle stuff and things for the radio station. So
the regular temperature in the winter would be what in your area?
It's in the 70s and 80s right now.
Yeah, so like a nice summer day in our area in New England.
But we get 3 months of triple digits. So
right
when it's 78 degrees on Thanksgiving Day, it's pretty nice. It sucks though because it's tough to think about Christmas here when you're surrounded by palm trees and sunshine all the time. It's like these.
I always wondered how that worked out when you live in a warm climate like that.
First dealt with it when I lived in New Orleans. That was the first time I ever dealt with like being in a subtropical climate. During the winter time when you think, well, it should be snowing and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But we get snow here up in Flagstaff, so if you really want to see it, you can just drive a couple hours north, and it's like being up in the Vermont.
Yeah, you must have cold nights out there, right? I mean, sort of.
Yeah, it gets down into the upper 30s and 40s, and we get like a week of shit weather, and like the third week of December, it'll get down into the upper 30s during the day.
Oh yeah,
38, 39, 40 in that area. We get like freeze warnings and stuff where they tell you to take a sheet and put it over your hedges, but it's not real serious.
Right.
It's nothing.
Well, you've been around. You've lived in this area, so you know what the winters up here can be.
Yeah,
but
can't complain about that. I mean,
yeah, I can't. At this point, winter's just a burden. When it comes through, up around here in Massachusetts, it's a good 5 months anyway. I mean, we just had a couple of big snowstorms this week, so but thankfully we actually we had a couple snow days, so I had a couple days off at the beginning of the week, so that's nice. Always good. We just got to make them up in June.
Yeah, I don't know what a snow day is. I haven't seen snow, like real snow that could damage anything or be a problem in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are in the warmer areas. I know Johnny is in the same boat pretty much.
Yeah, Johnny is in like Northern California. They get it pretty raw in the wintertime, but not real bad.
Yeah, and the elevations up in the mountains, his area.
I'm getting some love on the T-shirt tonight. This is I forget the name of the company that does it, but they do hockey jerseys, like little hockey jerseys.
I was going to say, is that Eddie?
It's Eddie. Yeah, Eddie from the Trooper. It's basically the Trooper album, the single cover, but instead of the sword and the flag, he's got a hockey stick.
Nice.
So
that is a cool shirt.
Yeah, I forget the name.
Is it for a specific team, or is it just?
No, it's just
Eddie, a hockey.
Yeah, just Eddie dressed with a hockey thing. Yeah, I think they do it with a couple of different bands.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could tell you the name of the company, but they're not paying me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right. So how's everyone in the chat doing? I guess we could do some roll call. Paul, do you want to?
I can say.
Do you have the chat in front of you? Or
I do have the chat in front of me. Not a whole lot of people. I mean, a lot of people hung in there, so I want to thank.
We got 45 watching.
Fruitcake Tony and Sylvester Radio, 6 Strings and 10 Fingers, and what else? We got Ron Padgett, Mark Dillon, Vistalight 1972, Sean Zimmerman, Fruitcake Tony, of course, 6 Strings 10 Fingers. Did I mention Padgett? I don't know if I did or didn't. Stream Elements, that's a bot, so it doesn't matter. Zach Thong. Old Metal Dude, I think I got just about everybody. Mickey Settlemeyer, of course, David Scher, and I think if I missed anybody, I apologize. Old Metal Dude.
Yeah, and we got 49 watching now. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Johnny's still working on getting settled, so we got a few things we can talk about tonight. There's a couple anniversaries. The obvious anniversary is the Pearl Harbor Day, which I love my history and. So that was what, 41? December 7th, 1941, a date that
And
will live in infamy.
And let's not forget the antics of Wild Bill Kelso in 1941, who saved Los Angeles, California from an attack from the Japanese sub that was off the coast.
I haven't heard that story. Is that
It's a movie.
1941.
Yeah,
From
it's a movie.
From 1941. Okay,
Yes.
Another great Steven Spielberg movie. I haven't.
It's not that great a movie. It's
actually, not a great
it's
movie.
A cult,
You're right.
You know,
it's a big budget kind of a mess. It's a big budget mess, but they just tried to throw everything into it. You know, John Belushi and who else was in that? Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah,
I remember
Tim Matheson and Toshiro Mifune, who was actually a legitimate Japanese.
He did some Kurosawa films, I think.
Yeah, no, he's like a Japanese. He's like the Japanese.
He did Tora.
Yeah. He's like the Japanese Patrick Stewart. He's got all kinds of awards, and he's like this they're one of their big stars, and he does this bit part in 1941.
Yeah,
it was a fun movie. John Candy, early John.
That's one of my earliest movie memories is going to the theaters. I don't know what I was seeing, but I remember the preview from 1941, and there's the kids are jumping on a bed, and the bed goes through the floor.
Right.
That's what I remember. I remember that, probably that movie came out in 80, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And the preview was probably 79, and I don't know what I would have been. Probably, I think I don't know, Star Wars or something like that. Who knows?
The interesting thing about it is that you see everything you need to see in 1941 in the preview.
Yeah.
The whole movie is kind of a mess. Doesn't really stick around.
It is. That's how I would describe it. It's kind of a mess, but it's fun. It's worth checking out. An early Spielberg. That was I think that was his follow up from Close Encounters, probably.
I mean, the timeline sort of works out, but not a great Spielberg movie, not a great movie, but you can watch that for 90 minutes and not feel like you wasted your time. I mean, it's kind of fun. It has its moments.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, there's a new one about Pearl Harbor coming out. I think it may already be in the theaters, but it looks really kind of cheesy. It looks almost like I don't know, just like a big budget Hollywood kind of just for not about the the story behind it, but more about the big budget effects and then a love story and that kind of thing. Like Pearl Harbor, the original Pearl Harbor movie that came out 20 years ago. I've still never seen that to this day, and it just, all the reviews and everything really panned it, and it was all about the love story and nothing about the actual history. But so anyway,
it was prior to September 11th, that was the biggest deal, the biggest attack on American lives, and they get that big. If you've ever been to the museum, to the Pearl Harbor Museum, where they basically the
USS Arizona,
which we have one of the guns for it here in our state. They take it pretty seriously here down. They do a big,
I bet, ceremony
down.
That's your area.
So,
I just heard they allowed the last, I guess, surviving, most recent deceased, soldier from whatever to be buried in that ship. So that's the last person who will be buried in that ship. They allowed the ashes, or however they do it.
It's interesting. And then, of course, we are also in some parts of the country, we're already in the anniversary of the death of John Lennon and Dimebag Darrell.
And also, I was going to mention the anniversary of Altamont as well. The Altamont Rolling Stones concert, which was the 6th, I believe, and my mother's birthday. Let's throw something happy in there. My mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, Meredith Hunter being stabbed was probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a good thing to be remembering versus your mom's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. But just a few things.
We should take a moment to memorialize the fact that Johnny Beane lost Howie the dog.
Absolutely.
That missed it.
Yeah.
Howie, who was a fixture on the show, and I'm sure John will join us in a little bit, but Howie was 17, which is old for a dog. You remember him. He would be, walking through the screen with a diaper on and stuff, because he was an old, infirm dog for a while. And it's the worst feeling in the world to lose a dog. I've got two, and that's the shit part about it, is you realize you're going to outlive them more often than not.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it sucks.
I've definitely as well. I've lost several pets. It's tough. Yeah, and all the best to Johnny and
his family
and his wife, and yeah,
it
it's
sucks.
But
not a fan of that. That's the saying goodbye to a dog is never good.
Yeah, any pet,
except for fish. Fuck fish.
Well, hey, when I was growing up, we bought goldfish when I was in 3rd grade, and they were with us all through high school. So it probably 10 years, at least 10 years, we had those fish. So 2 goldfish, and they so not that we got attached to them, it was kind of it was like, who's going to clean the bowl this month,
Yeah, goldfish are such a blow off pet.
Yeah, of course. But
and now I gotta make Ace happy because he hasn't getting a whole lot of attention. He's mad at me because every time he brings me the ball, I give it to Lemmy. And now he's giving me this. This is weird. This is like one of those medical socks that you get when you go to the hospital. I don't know why.
Like a compression sock or something?
Compression sock. And I don't know where he found it, but this is the only piece of material that I allow him to like shred and whip around. He tries to grab. So he loves this sock. It's like his favorite toy. I don't know why. So what's going on? I mean, obviously the big story is the whole Def Leppard Motley Crue thing, which I'm sure you guys talked about.
Sure. I know they've talked about it on Tuesday and last night. And I guess the big news of that was that Joan Jett joined the tour, and I think that's a perfect match. I mean,
one of these things is that's like one of the others.
Well, I still think she was at the same time all those groups were having their hits, and the mid to late 80s she was huge as well. And the thing that I think about, what does that make, 5 bands on the tour or 4?
Oh, it's 4.
It's 4 bands. But that's going to shorten everyone's set, by having 4 bands. Motley Crue, who is headlining, is, I wouldn't bet, going to do much more.
That's the thing. They're not headlining. Def Leppard is the top billing band.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Yes. I think they're calling it a co-headliner, but Def Leppard. It's funny because we got for those that don't know, I work in radio.
Oh yeah.
And we got a press release from the promoter that said Def Leppard is the top billing band. And it's interesting because Def Leppard have quietly gone back to playing stadiums when so many of their peers haven't. Like, there are only 2 bands from that hair band era that can still play stadiums: Def Leppard and Bon Jovi. The rest of them are theater bands. I mean, the Motley Crue thing is getting all of the hype from everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they're not the headlining band. Def
Leppard has consistently been playing, sold out arenas for 30 plus years anyway.
Yeah. They've never really
yeah, and I would have. That's what I would have. What I thought that it would have been Def Leppard, but then the hype was around Motley Crue because of the dirt and all that.
Well, this is a blatant attempt to get Motley Crue into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Blatant attempt.
Oh God, I mean,
the whole reason that they're doing this is because the Dirt movie did well, which, by the way, it came and went pretty quick, and it wasn't as great as the reviews have given it.
Oh no, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
It was a good way. It was a great Netflix movie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is absolutely an attempt to get them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And good luck to them.
Is Def Leppard already in? Leppard?
Def Leppard is in. Joan
Jett is in, and Poison's not.
Poison's not going to go in.
Yeah,
but you talk about those hair bands. Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Motley Crue are the big 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's there's a huge drop off after that with the Rats and the Dawkins and the LA Guns and all that stuff. And there's an argument to be made that Guns N' Roses was a hair band too.
But again, well, they were at the tail end of the 80s. 87, I think, was that, and they didn't blow up until probably 88, 89.
Yeah.
But they're coming to Fenway Park. The Motley Crue tour is coming to Fenway Park, so
and good for them.
They're already booking their stadiums, and I mean, hey, I'm not going to be buying a ticket myself. I don't really have too much interest in that, but
no. I would go see Def Leppard. I like Def Leppard.
Yeah,
and Poison's still good live. And Fruitcake Tony says, they're flip-flopping spots. I know they're flip-flopping slots night to night, but Def Leppard is still getting the top bill.
Well, yeah. So wasn't the big headline that Motley Crue was making 158 million or something on this?
There's none of the ticket prices have been really announced. The ticket prices are going to be as high as the balls in a giraffe. I mean, you can expect that.
Well,
but
yeah. So if was that what you had heard, that Motley Crue was making 150 plus million,
somebody had said that they're getting $3 million a show. I find that very, very hard to believe because
that is crazy money.
Def Leppard outdraws them,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to have, let's say, Def Leppard is making $3 million, Motley Crue is making $3 million. That's a $6 million guarantee for the show for places that'll hold 35 to 75,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
The ticket prices for that, I mean, you do the math, it's almost impossible
it's going to be crazy
to make a profit. Yeah, so they're not making that kind of money. I guarantee you, they're not making that money.
Right.
Hey,
I mean, yeah, that's probably what each show costs. Hey, Johnny.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Johnny Beane in his house.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, we're running late tonight. Originally I was supposed to be back here by 10 my time.
What happened? Where were you?
I was I was at a local production of Evita.
Oh.
At a community theater.
Did you cry for Argentina?
No, but
damn,
they sang that a lot.
She wouldn't want you to cry for her.
No.
Yeah,
she was supposed to have been immortal.
The whole thing was singing. It was just nonstop singing and dancing.
That's called a musical, John.
Yeah. I can't do those, man.
It wasn't bad.
I was telling John, well, I mean, one night is okay, but when you got to do like 10 nights on a spotlight for a 3-hour musical, it's no fun. You know? Yeah,
but like I was telling you though. Oh, and thank you. Somebody said sorry to hear about Howie. Thank you. Yeah, somebody is on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Charlie, are you watching this? Charlie, if you're watching this, man. Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah, I met him at the thing tonight.
The Viet Cong?
At Evita.
Oh.
He was running the sound for the show.
Oh, is that right?
Who?
Actually.
Charlie S?
Huh. No. Charlie McGovern. Oh. He says, "Wait, are you watching this, or you're watching another one?"
I don't know. Has he been in the chat before, or
well, he's on my website right now.
You met him? Oh, okay. Did you?
I met him tonight.
Oh, okay.
I met him tonight. And yeah, by the way, yeah, the show was great. Yeah, no, basically, I was there to kind of check out like what he was doing. Like running the sound, you know, with the, you know, because he was telling me about the microphone, what mics they used, showing me the board, you know.
That's tough when you do a theater thing and everyone's got their own wireless, and you know that's a tough, you know, audio gig, especially, you know, you got to fade down everybody as they're going backstage, and you know keep resetting wireless mics. So hats off to anyone that's done that. I've done a lot of lighting for theater stuff, but I haven't done audio.
Man, yeah, like I was telling you, a lot of that stuff is, well, it's all done by computer now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of lights and there's this program that a lot of theaters use now. It's called Q Labs, and like any of like sound effects, like pre-recorded sound effects. Like let's say tonight on Evita, there was a lot of like crowd noises, you know, like, you know, cheering and stuff. That's all done using this thing called Q Labs. You know, you hit spacebar and it plays the sound.
Right.
And then it'll play it for, you know, a certain amount of time, and then you can either stop it or it'll stop. And then there's Ned.
Hey, Ned.
There goes Ned. Anyway, Charlie, if you are watching this, great to meet you, man, and thank you so much for letting me check out, you know, your board and stuff, what you were doing. Actually, I have to write a paper on that. So that's the reason I was there.
So what did you learn? What did you learn? What kind of a sound system were they using?
Oh man, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Were they all individually mic'd up with wirelesses, or?
Yeah. Yeah, all individually, and you could actually see some of the actors. You could see like their packs, like in the back, you know. No, with a production like that, it's very tricky to you got to keep everything running, very smoothly, and because anything can happen.
Yeah.
Mics can break.
Dealing with a lot of like FM wireless signals and probably interference and stuff like that as well. Or that can happen, I mean, I'm sure they've got that all dialed in by this point.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of EQing, yeah. But anyway, as far as Evita, yeah, it was good. I mean, I'd never, I didn't really know the story, so it was all brand new to me. But the place was packed, and I think tonight was like the last night. I think it was the last night of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, that's why I'm late. That's where I was. And hey, Charlie, if you are watching this, it was great to meet you, man. He said he's on my website. I got the message from my site. And he said he was checking out one of the videos, and I'm assuming he's watching the one that's on now. But
well, welcome, Charlie.
Yeah, welcome, man. And Charlie, I'll send you an email as well. So I just ran right in the door, because this was down in Salinas, which is about half an hour from where I am here. Mm-hmm. So, and what happened was I'd planned to be here. By the time I messaged you saying, "Hey, I'm on my way," that's when I'd planned to already be home.
Right.
Things
change.
Yeah. So it was about half an hour drive back. So, and then what I did was I started the show with you guys on my laptop over here, so you guys could jump in, and then I had to boot up my main computer here, and then I'm having problems with this other computer. Technical difficulties, man.
That's
always. But anyway, thank you again, everybody, about Howie. Yeah, Howie the Dalmatian. He
will be missed.
Oh, yeah, it hurts, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm feeling like there's just something, it's almost like I'm having withdrawals.
Was he? I mean, was it just old age, or did he get like something quick?
He was old.
Yeah, he couldn't really get up anymore.
He couldn't get up anymore. He couldn't walk. And I didn't, the thing is, you look at him and he doesn't really look old, because he's white, the white fur. So, but he's probably, he's probably been gray for years. But
right. With a lot of dogs, they turn gray. Yeah.
That's what's happening to Lemmy now. Lemmy is she's 9 or 10. I don't know, because she's a rescue. She's getting all white, a little slower, waddling a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you just know she sleeps a little bit more than she did. You start to see how it.
Yeah, my parents have a 13-year-old, not greyhound, golden. So yeah, I mean, when they're getting towards that age, and it's rough because what's around the corner.
Well, I've had dogs, all my life, but mostly like family dogs. Like, I lived with my parents, and
right.
We would have dogs, but I was never attached to any of them. And actually, most of them hated me. Like, I couldn't be around them. They try to bite me all the time.
Oh, geez.
But Howie was the first animal I've ever known that was just
that you bonded with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And almost 17 years. I mean, I guess that's quite a while.
Crazy.
It's a long time for a dog. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a big chunk of your life. I mean.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is.
And it's been your whole internet life as well, pretty much, hasn't it?
Almost.
Yeah.
I've been on the internet since 2000. No, not 2000. Since 1998. So I've been on the internet for 20 years, 21 years, or whatever it is. But Howie, the whole reason I created this channel was to put up, videos of him. So go back to my earliest videos, and they're all videos of my dog, doing tricks and barking and all that stuff.
Has Ned been acting strange at all? Has he noticed, do you think, or because they were bonding over the last couple of months?
Yeah,
haven't they?
I think it seemed like he kind of noticed at first. Because if you see that blanket right there, that was Howie's brand new blanket just like a week ago. We bought that for him, and Ned was kind of like has been sleeping in it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Ned's bed, which is right there, he's been sleeping on Howie's blanket.
Cool. Yeah, they know. I think they can sense, more than we can, about what's happened and everything.
Well, what happened with my shepherd prior to Ace? I had another shepherd. He was, I'm guessing, closer to 12 or 13 than 12 or 11, and he got sick. Couldn't get up one day, so I took him to the vet, and they hydrated him and everything, and said he was all right. And then like 3 weeks later, he was just sort of laying on the floor panting, as they always do, but he looked like he was labored breathing. So I picked him up to try and take him out, and he couldn't stand. I'm like, oh shit. So when I picked him up, he basically evacuated all over me, and I brought him into the vet, and they put fluids in him, and at that point they said his temperature had elevated, and he was basically going into like, cerebral seizure and shit like that. There was some sort of a cancer that they didn't even see. And literally it was within 24 hours of him getting sick the second time, it was over. It was like, you gotta make this decision,
you gotta make that decision, sure.
Which is the worst thing in the world, but it's also the most humane thing you can do, because they, you don't want him to suffer. So then I ended up with Ace here, who is, I don't know, he's probably 3.5, or maybe almost 4 now. And Lemmy has decided to plop down. You can sort of see her head right here. She decided to plop down, and she's, I think, 9 or 10. And they are pretty much everything that goes on in my house is the two of these. They're a pain in the ass, but I love them. And as long as they have their balls, they're happy. As long as they get something and get scratched a little bit, they're fine. But dogs, man, these dogs got me through my divorce. And just shit things that go on in your life.
It's that unconditional love that they give you, Of course.
Yeah. Well, this one has conditional love. It's conditional love. Taking the ball from him and throwing it.
Oh yeah, I guess it's the primal love.
It's always amazing to me, like even cats, dogs, any animal, like any domesticated animal, they choose to live with you. Like they come over and they want to socialize, and they come over and they want to be with you, and they sort of, dogs, they say, can learn like 200 or 300 words, so they can actually communicate with you, and they empathize. They know like when to do it easy and stuff like that. They
Absolutely.
have a sense of they feed off of your emotions and shit, and it's like I'm like I always marvel at that, because it's this big dumb animal who just wants to climb up, and he doesn't even give a shit. He just wants some loving. They're awesome.
That's what's so great.
And Lemmy gets jealous. She's jealous because give me that ball. I got that ball. So they're very, very, they're attention whores now. And I love the fact that Lemmy, like, she was feral, and now she's going to try to lay down again. And by lay down, I mean just sort of fall down because she's fat. But for the longest time, you couldn't approach her. She wouldn't, she'd run away, or she'd sort of scamper away and stuff because she got trapped.
Where was she from?
She was on a construction site of some sort. And people were throwing rocks at her and shit like that, like you do with a stray dog. And she was really thin, really small and stuff. But for the longest time, I couldn't, sort of approach her or touch her. And now she wants to play tug of war with a ball. So she's starting to assert her own dominance, which is kind of neat.
How long have you've had her for?
I've had her for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and so she was a stray for quite a while before you had her. Then, huh?
Yeah, and I think she had a litter. I'm not sure.
Probably,
but she's
female
awesome.
Stray.
I'll give her the ball just to piss Ace off, and he gets fucking furious.
Yeah, she's earned it. So basically, she's earned it.
She gets it because she's older. And he tries to take it from her all the time.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah, they're all right. So I'm, if anything, I totally get what John's going through. It sucks.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get another one at some point?
Not sure. Not sure, because Howie, his personality was something I've never seen with any other dog, any other animal, and one of the things with Howie is he never barked. Never barked ever. When we first got him.
That's kind of common with Dalmatians, I think.
Is it?
I think they have Dalmatians don't bark. A lot of them don't bark, and I think they have hearing problems.
Yeah, they do go deaf.
Somebody told me that they go deaf.
What happens? A lot of them.
Johnny knows.
A lot of them can be born deaf.
Right.
They can be born deaf, and that wasn't his deal. Once he heard the opening of a bag of chips, he was right there. It's like he wouldn't listen. It was like, hey, come here. He wouldn't listen. But once you opened up the Doritos, he was right there. But yeah, as far as getting another one, right now we're happy with Ned. We love Ned.
Takes time, yeah. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush into something else,
Well, Lemmy was dog dependent. She was dog dependent. So when Hoagie went, she got, every time I'd come in the door, she'd look behind me to see where the other dog was. And she got really, really depressed and ended up sort of just laying down and went into a little shell. So about 5 weeks later, I ended up adopting another one. And she came right back around. It was kind of weird. So.
Hey, Clayton James. Today is Straturday. At least where some of you guys are.
Yeah. Clayton James Hicks, 1998 Hicks. Today is Straturday. That's right, man. And great to see everybody that's in here. I'm just I got to share this link to Facebook. I didn't do any of that stuff because I was like, what happened today was I woke up and then I had to go study, some piano, because I'm learning piano, And so I had to go and do that for a few hours. And then I'm like, man, I got to get a burrito, I got to get like an authentic burrito from somewhere. No Chipotle. So I was driving around and there's this area of Santa Cruz called Pleasure Point, which is like right there, right next to the water. Like if you've heard of O'Neill, the surfer.
Right.
Well, O'Neill, the stores.
Yes.
Yeah, that's named after him. I think. Anyway, there's this area called Pleasure Point, and I went driving over there, and I just happened to see this little place. It said tacos, burritos, and juices or juice bar. And so I thought, oh, that place looks interesting. And so I went and stopped in there, and I got a burrito. And the guy, he hands me this. He's like, "You want some salsa? This hot sauce?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want hot or mild?" I'm like, "I'll take the hot one." He hands it to me. He's like, "This is really hot." And I'm thinking, okay, I'll try it. And I get in my car and I start eating. I put the sauce on it. I was sweating immediately. Oh, yeah. It was just hot. There was no like flavor.
No, that's the worst.
It was just hot.
Just for the sake of being hot.
For the sake of being hot. And it was, John, I almost thought about saving it and having it on here and showing it to you tonight. But I ended up being like, oh man, this is way too hot. So I tossed it. I ate the burrito. Yeah. I came in here and I passed out basically. I think I slept for like an hour. And then by the time I woke up, it was dark out. So you know what that's like. You wake up and it's dark and you just feel like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then right after that, it's like, oh, we got to go to Salinas to go to this musical. Because I got to check out, the sound production of what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
So then we went to that, saw that. And again, it was good. It was good. That was down at, where was that? Avita, westernstage.com. Oh, that's their website. It's a community college down in Salinas.
All right, I hate to do this, but I gotta bail out. My eyes are fucking burning me. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, all good, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries, Paul.
I'm having blurred vision. I'm totally Gilbert Gottfrieding right now.
Is there something I could do over here?
So I got to tap out. I'm sorry.
No worries. Take it easy.
All good.
It's fucking killing me. All right, I'll see you guys next week. I think.
Later, Paul.
Okay. All right. Great to see you. Man.
And then there were two.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a third. We have a third here now. Let me know when
Okay.
you're ready. We have a third that wants to jump in here. I can see them. They're sitting here. Are you ready? Zim. You ready? All right, there we go.
Dane. Yeah, I saw Dane's message.
There you are.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good.
What's
How
up?
are you?
I'm doing good.
Nice.
My face looks kind of white, and am I over white right now?
Over white?
You're a little bright, but that's all right.
Okay.
You're over white.
I'm sorry to hear about your dog, Johnny.
Oh, thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, it was well, basically 17 years of having your best friend with you every day. Him and I were together basically every day for 17 years. You know, every night was like, hey, we got to go for a walk. You know, and now it's been like 2 nights where we haven't gone for a walk, and it's very strange. You know,
I'm kind of worried about this girl right here. Oh, come here, Mims. Because she's 12.
wow.
And so, yeah. How you doing, Mims? You see Johnny?
Oh, shit.
Do you see Johnny over there? Well,
What's going on?
he's a little, what kind of dog is this? It's a, what kind of dog are you? He's an American Eskimo.
He's a white dog.
Yeah.
Over white.
We're all over white tonight. Me and the dog.
But yeah, thank you, man. Yeah. It's weird. Like I was telling these guys, you know, a few minutes ago, I'm having withdrawals. Like actual like withdrawal symptoms, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's gonna mess with your emotions for a long time, you know? It's gonna feel weird. Everything feels, and then you get Ned who's hopping up on the couch there, bringing mice in there, and
Ned is amazing.
Bringing you little treats and everything.
You know what it's kind of like? It's like Howie just had this personality that I've never seen in any other animal, but that's what made him, you know. And with Ned, I'm kind of seeing the same kind of thing with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a certain.
Well, it's kind of how how he taught Ned to be domesticated, didn't he? Sort of. You know, they were
maybe.
Ned was a stray, wasn't he?
Ned was wild, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know, it took him a little while to take to you and your family there, and so I think with the animal communication, they probably passed along some information there. I don't know how it works between species.
Yeah,
species.
I don't know, but they're both awesome, but anyway, yeah. So Ned, you know, he's here now, and Sean, huh?
What are you talking about, Sean?
What? What's racist? The dog was white.
It's speciesist.
Oh.
I have another little dog, but I don't think she'll come to me if I call her. She's not real with it. Grizz.
Sorry, I'm having dinner.
Mims, go
popcorn.
Oh, good stuff.
Go
it's not movie. That didn't look like movie theater popcorn, though.
No, it's
you get the good stuff.
The yellow bag, pop. It's the one that Katy Perry was pushing for a while. Wow. What's it called? Something. It's good. It's good stuff.
I like the kettled corn, in the red bag. That stuff's good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been munching on what are these little things? Oh yeah. Super awesome. What do you call these little guys?
I don't know. They're really bright.
I don't know. It's really white. I can't.
Pistachios.
Oh, pistachios are great, but you gotta open every one of them, right?
Yeah, I know, it's kind of a hassle.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the experience, you know.
They're really good. So, instead of popcorn, we got pistachios going.
Mm-hmm. Those are good. Those are good.
So I
Pistachio.
played a gig tonight. I just got back. I played a gig
Oh.
tonight. Yeah. We did like about an hour-long set at a little bar down in Phoenix.
Oh,
And
Phoenix, man.
I was expecting to go in there with it's such a little kind of bar that I didn't think there would be a PA system, maybe just two 12-inch speakers up on monitors or something. And the band that went on after us had this huge PA in there with all kinds of giant subwoofers. And it was a great setup in there. And I made $20 to play for an hour.
That's not bad.
And I went to Filiberto's and got the number 3.
You went where?
Filiberto's.
Filiberto's?
Yeah, love that place. Mexican food.
Oh.
So I got the number 3 from Filiberto's, which is 2 tacos, rice and beans, and man, I'm stuffed.
You'll get the number 2 in a few, huh?
Yeah.
Filiberto's.
It'll come back to you. Tomorrow it'd be like, wow, man, what did you eat yesterday? Hey, I see my buddy Rico's in the chat. Rico, how you doing?
Hey, Rico.
Rico comes in my store, and he brings me items, and it's really cool because he's like, hey, man, I got a Glary guitar. You want to do a video on it? And a week or so later, he's like, I got a Kramer with the striped, So yeah, he brings me cool stuff to do videos on.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Let's see. I'm sharing the video. I'm sharing this video to Facebook. That's something I did not do yet.
Oh, I just found out that you can get pistachios shelled.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sure you can. Yeah.
The amazing.
But where's the
drop
fun in that?
to share that with us.
Well, without the what?
You can get your pistachios already shelled for you.
Shelled? Oh, that means without the shells?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Molly.
Good information there.
Molly, I got your message earlier. Sorry, I couldn't. The messages has been just insane with regards to Howie. I'll reply back to everybody as soon as I can. It's been insane. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're already pretty much opened, right?
Oh, and you just
You don't want to eat the
There
ones
you
that
go.
aren't open because it's like eating what are those steamers? You guys ever have steamers or like?
oh, that doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't sound right. That's probably what we call them around here. It's just the clam, like you open the not oysters, but when you get boiled clams.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. You're right. It doesn't sound good.
boiled.
But you
I
don't
don't
eat the ones that are closed. You don't eat the ones that are closed up because they're sick or they're not good.
Let me grab my phone for a second.
I don't know. I haven't.
Let's move on. Yeah,
I haven't had. Yeah, mussels.
mussels. That's what they are.
I
was
haven't
trying to
had
think of
any
what they
of
were called.
I haven't eaten any of that stuff in years. I used to eat that stuff all the time, like years. Like actually, the first day we got Howie. Actually, July 6th, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed this picture last night. Actually, this picture was taken July 6th,
Oh wow!
2003. That's Howie.
First
Right there.
day, man.
The first day we got him. First day. And actually, we met up with my family at a restaurant in Crockett, California. It was called the Dead Fish,
Oh man!
and I think it's still there. But anyway, that when you live in California, if you're in California, you go to a place right there on the water. Any seafood place right on the water, it's going to be the real deal. So that's what it was.
Yeah, same around here in New England. I mean, we've got a
Oh, there you go.
seafood.
New England
huge-
clam chowder, right?
That's right,
Out
absolutely.
here in Phoenix,
Holy
we got
crap.
none of that. We got refried beans,
Well, you have the
tortillas and beans.
I love Mexican food and
Yeah.
all that stuff. South of the border, man.
The thing about Mexican food is you get just a big plate, and it's all. Mexican food is really only about maybe a half a dozen different ingredients, just in different kind of combinations.
Sure.
You just get a big pile of it, and it doesn't matter. You don't just scoop your rice first and then take a little
Mix it all. Yeah, you got to have it all together.
stuff, and it all tastes the same. Doesn't matter if you're eating the rice or the beans or whatever, it's all the same. Yeah.
Man, well, Dane, I was born in Phoenix.
Wow. I think you told me that.
I
Yeah.
lived in Phoenix till I was 9.
Mhm.
And so obviously I was a little kid, and so I really don't I wasn't able to, go anywhere except to school and back,
Mhm.
So I don't really know any of the, like the spots, to hit up. Although I've been back over the years, about 10, 11 years ago, this band I was in called the Mayfire, we would tour, and we played Phoenix. I remember playing some, I could look it up, some warehouse, place. And I remember the whole place smelled like a bathroom. It was awful.
The one bar that did the most traffic as far as out of town bands coming through Phoenix, most of them hit the Mason Jar. And the owner of the place, his name was what's his name?
Good night, Molly.
Yeah, so there's this dude named Franco that ran the Mason Jar in Phoenix, and he left quite a reputation on everybody. He never paid anybody. There's all kinds of stories about Franco from the Mason Jar. But everybody that was anybody, you remember stories of Anvil playing at the Mason Jar.
Anvil from the Canadian band?
Yeah. And I seen the Lynch Mob in there, and it was tough to get in, but as of lately, it's kind of back to where it's like a little punk rock bar. It's called the Rebel Lounge, but all throughout the 80s and probably even the late 70s, it was called the Mason Jar. And so, yeah, everybody, I think, even bands like Poison and stuff, when they were coming up,
right?
Guns N' Roses, all these guys, you could only cram 150 people in there or something.
Well, that's like Toad's place here, down in New Halen. That's a tiny little club, but everybody has played there.
And then right around maybe 2004 or 2005 or something, it turned into a gay bar. Yeah, and it was called the.
I bet they made more money doing that, though.
They probably did. It was called the Anvil.
Oh God.
And yeah, but now it's back, and it's called the Rebel Lounge, and they have cool punk rock shows in there. I saw U.S. Bombs play in there. Dwayne Peters and U.S. Bombs. And that was a kind of a cool band because U.S. Bombs, Dwayne Peters, I don't know if you guys know about him, but back in the early 80s, he was a skater, and he was one of the first professional skaters that would go down in the swimming pool and come up and do tricks and all kinds of stuff like that. And he then soon after he put a punk rock band together, and U.S. Bombs, they were out of Anaheim or someplace over there in Southern California.
Orange. He's from Orange County.
Yeah, and they did really good for a little punk rock band.
The Master of Disaster is what he was known as.
Yeah.
What's that skater movie that was kind of the documentary about the rise of that culture, and came out maybe 10 years ago or so, and Tony Hawk and all the guys that kind of invented that, going in the pools and stuff like that. And
right.
There was a great film, and I don't remember what it was, a great documentary about the early days of skate culture, you know, in California.
So my drummer that's in my punk band's called the Fed Ups. And my drummer is also in US Bombs. So they play probably 10 months out of the year. And so I have to wait for them to kind of go on hiatus so I can play a gig with my drummer. But that's okay with me, man. If I can play a couple of times a year, that's enough.
Sure.
Yeah. And we actually played last weekend, and it was kind of fun. And there was this girl at the bar, and she made me these little, like 6-second long little video clips. And let me see if I can show you one of these. They turned out really cool.
Yeah, Dogtown and Z-Boys. That was the
And Dwayne Peters was also
documentary.
in the Huns. And the girl, he was married to the girl that plays bass in Nashville Pussy. So little
cool
community there.
I just found a pretty cool documentary. We should put this in the Discord. I just found something called Skateboard Kings. It's a documentary from 1978.
Oh wow!
Talking about skateboarding, and they're swimming. They're doing not swimming. They're doing the pool and from 1978.
It was probably a lot of the same people that were in that.
I'll go ahead and put this in the Discord.
Yeah, Dwayne Peters is probably in that and participated.
I actually want. This looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna watch this later.
And if you haven't seen, or is it the Lords of Dogtown? Maybe there was one that was actually like a Hollywood kind of with actors and everything, and then there was an actual documentary, Lords of Dogtown, and then there was Dogtown and Z-Boys. I think that was the theatrical one.
And what's cool is Fender made a California Series acoustic guitar, which is the Dwayne Peters acoustic guitar. And they let him design the headstock. They let him design the guitar. And I have one of those. And they only made...
Oh, cool.
I called Fender. And they only made 506 of the Dwayne Peters California Series acoustic guitars. And he pinstriped it, and I went down to a gig about a month ago, and I made a YouTube video about this, but it's only gotten maybe 200 or 300 views. But I actually took my Dwayne Peters Fender guitar, and I took it to a US Bombs gig when they were playing in Phoenix last month or about 2 months ago. And I got him to autograph it, and it's a funny video where I interviewed him for about a minute while he was setting on, the door of his van that he had out behind the bar. And he signed this guitar, and it was really cool. So I have an autographed one now.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's at my store, so I can't show it to you guys.
No worries.
So that's not your store right there?
No, this is my I'm at my house.
Man.
That's some great gear. Nice gear
It's
room
a fun
right there.
guitar, and it's a cool little story. And they only made 506 of them. But here, let me show you guys this off my phone. This was a girl at the bar making fun little video clips. With me in the background.
Oh, cool. She looks like she's enjoying herself.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see another. Here's another one. These are cool, right? Yeah, so she sent me a bunch of these. But it's weird how they're coming out like it's flipped, so I look like I'm a lefty, but I'm not a lefty. All those little videos, though, it looks like I'm a lefty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when you use the front camera, it makes it reversed. You know. So she just sent those to you. Those aren't posted like on her Instagram or Snapchat anywhere.
They might be, but I saw her at the bar doing those, and she's like, "Look," and I'm like, "Oh my God, send those to me." OMG. I need those.
That's cool. So that was your gig tonight?
No, that was a week ago.
A week ago. Okay.
Yeah, so that was with my punk band, the Fed Ups, and that drummer that you just heard right there, he's also in US Bombs.
Okay.
And like I said, they're a real freaking band that goes out and makes money. And for being a little punk band, they opened for Guttermouth a couple of months ago. And US Bombs has toured the world. They've played Moscow. They've toured the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're the real deal when it comes to bands, like punk rock bands, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool.
Fruitcake. That's what I was thinking when he first said it.
And you know what's fun about this band is we've been together since 06. That drummer's been in the band since like 2010. The bass player's been in the band since 08. So we're going on, 9, 10, and that song, I wrote that song probably 14 years ago. And the only thing that we've ever done is played little clubs here in town. We played San Diego one time, but, we just stay in town. We don't do very much. If somebody asks, hey, you want to play? I don't usually go out and scout gigs out and try to find places to play. I let people call me up. And so I don't get that many. But once in a while, I'll play in a little bar. And people that used to come and see us 10 years ago, 8 years ago, a long time ago, they'll come to the bar and they'll sing along with some of these originals that I wrote. And I think a lot of times these guys that are putting, little bands together, longevity has a lot to do with it, because we don't need to practice anymore. We can go out and play the same 12 songs, and we're kind of, reaping the harvest, or, we're reaping the benefits of work that we did, 14 years ago when we had to write the song. Mm-hmm. And some guys writing songs is kind of painful. Other guys, you can write, a new song every time you go to band practice. But to get the small group of punk rockers in the Phoenix area to kind of, remember some of your songs, it takes years and years. Mm-hmm. And so the longevity, you know what I'm saying? It's important.
I'm seeing a lot of bands that I grew up with in, high school, from, maybe a 50-mile circumference of where I grew up, but they were like the bands that were on, the local bands that were on your radar in high school and in the late 80s and 90s. But a lot of them are coming back and doing like kind of reunion tours, and everyone's, coming out to see them, if, they may have had, one small hit on a local radio station, but everybody kind of that was my age back at that time, we all knew them. Groove Child is the one that I think of that was, a band that was at the high school, right? The kind of the competing high school, like the rival high school. Groove Child was a huge, and they were on a lot of the local radio stations, and they always, when they were in high school, they were playing bars, they were playing to, hundreds of people in some cases. They were opening for national bands. And there's a few of them that have come and gone. And one of my neighbors growing up, who was in a thrash metal band, and they've kind of had a resurgence. You know, he's my age, or he's couple of years older than me, and they're back out there and they're playing, you know, every week, you know, and getting people.
And it's a blast to go and see.
Oh yeah, and to you know,
local bands,
especially the ones that you grew up with and that you did, you know, you went to see them when they were, you know, just starting out, and it's good to see that they're back. And a lot of those, you know, bands are, and they're in much better shape nowadays, you know, because even back then, you know, especially for kids, you know, kids growing up in New Hampshire like us, everyone was, you know, drinking and smoking and everything. So it was like, nowadays you're growing up and you know what to do and what not to do. So they're, you know, like any of those bands, like Motley Crue, they're much healthier nowadays, you know.
Oh yeah.
Even Vince.
You can't do some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Vince, you know, well, isn't he like under contract that he has to lose the weight and everything? But I'm sure he's not
going for him. You know, the thing is
it's a lot different than it was in the 80s, I'm sure.
And Vince lives in a really nice house somewhere like in he moved to like
probably Beverly Hills or something,
Tennessee or someplace.
Oh, yeah. No, like a lot of those guys moved to Nashville.
Yeah, he's over there and he has a horse ranch, and he most likely has a very beautiful wife that makes him dinner every night, and he has a big breakfast every morning, and he's gaining some weight, and he thought he was retired.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt anything to gain a little bit of weight, you know? And
yeah. I chauffeured him a couple times. He came to when I was working concerts, I chauffeured him from the hotel to the club. I mean, because he came probably 2 or 3 times when I was working there. Mm-hmm. Him and his he did have an attractive wife or girlfriend, whatever it was. Bimbo, definitely the bimbo style. You know,
whatever it was.
Yeah, this was 96.
Whatever, it's whoever.
There's a lot worse things that he could be doing with his life than living raising horses and living on a farm and eating a nice big breakfast every morning, gaining a little bit of weight. He was retired.
And he's still, I mean, he was set for life, you know.
Yeah.
He's definitely a multimillionaire, so.
Right.
He doesn't have cash problems at all.
Are they? Are those
I would think so.
Multi-millionaires?
I don't know if all of them are, but I'm sure Vince, unless, you know, I know a lot of it's gone, you know, it's gone. A lot of that money's gone, but
you know
it's not from music.
No, but it's everything. I mean, he's been a celebrity for.
If you got the huge mansions, and
I don't think he made a lot of money on his solo tours, but I know he made. I mean, whenever he went out with Motley Crue, they were making lots of money, and they were playing sold out arena shows usually.
Well, that's what they're about to do again,
right?
And that's probably
and this is going to be a huge paycheck for them.
I would guess from just researching other artists on how much their net income is or their net value. I looked up David Lee Roth, and I think he's worth like $60 million. I looked up Sammy Hagar. He's worth like $120 million. He's worth more than Eddie or any of the Halen guys.
Well, that's because of his what do you call it? His tequila.
Yeah.
He sold that for like 80 million or something.
Right. And Michael Anthony's in there. But I did this gig where 6 or 8 months ago I opened up for Rough Riot, and I met Carlos Cavazo. So just for fun, I typed in the whole net worth of Carlos Cavazo. And even Carlos is worth $6 million.
He's been on a lot of albums. He's got to get royalties from a lot of those. I
imagine that
because he played in several different bands, didn't he?
He probably made a little bit of money in the last, because he was in Rat there for about 5 years or so, I think. But I mean, probably where he's getting royalties from the first 2 Quiet Riot albums.
Yeah,
maybe a little because of the 3rd Quiet Riot album, but most likely the first 2 Quiet Riot albums. And so the band that I played with tonight were called the Whiskey Dogs. I got the shirt. And we got another gig at the Whiskey A Go-Go on January 2nd of next year. So coming up here in 2020. Yeah, so it's only like a month away now. Less than a month away.
A little less than a month.
Yeah, we get to play at the Whiskey A Go-Go again.
3 weeks.
Thursday night. And it's with Rough Riot. So my singer in the Whiskey Dogs, he's good friends with Sean McNabb, who is the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're super stoked about that. We get to go out and play at the Whiskey A Go-Go again. You know, we're not making money at it, but you know, it's fun to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play there, are you up in like the green room?
Oh yeah,
like upstairs, right? There's a room up there.
Yeah, there's a staircase that takes you up to the green room, and then for the headlining band across the hall, there's a room where the doors lock. Or they don't let all the opening bands across the hall.
What's going on in that room?
It's like a whole third floor out in that building.
Why is it locked?
And if you think about the bands that played there, it's pretty mind blowing.
Oh, back in the day.
Again, that's like Toad's Place, where there's just a room downstairs in the basement next to the bathrooms, where the Rolling Stones hung out for at one point.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh! Real quick, let me do some shout outs here. Jane B, awesome to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Ron Paget, Metal Soda,
Money Matters,
Brett McCord, good to see you guys. Yeah. Wow. So the Whiskey A Go-Go, man, that's cool. I mean, that's
kind of fun.
I mean, isn't that? I mean, that has to be the coolest place anybody in the rock scene can play.
Sure, it's like the most well-known rock club. Yeah,
it is.
Next to the Fillmore or something like that. But I don't even. Is the Fillmore still around?
Up here?
The Fillmore East, and I know the East is gone, but the West, I don't know if the West.
Fillmore is it still there? Well, the Fillmore is I think it's still around.
I know the East, the one in New York has been gone for a long time. That closed in the 70s, but
I think it's still here. I've been there.
Fillmore West is probably still around.
I went to the Fillmore to see a friend of mine play one time. This guitar player named Alvin Youngblood Hart, amazing guitarist, singer. And as he's on stage, he's playing, and this was years ago. This was in the 90s. He's on stage playing. Actually, I should probably get him on one of these shows because he's got lots of stories, touring and everything. But so he's on stage, and then this guy comes through the crowd and bumps into me like he's trying to get. He's like on his way out, and it was Trey Cool from Green Day.
Oh wow!
He like bumps right into me. Well, I'm like, hey,
Green Day has their new Green Day's out on the road with like a Weezer and
yeah, that's a big tour.
Those other guys, Fall Out Boy.
Oh, that's right. They did a Caleb was there. Caleb went to it.
Played the Whiskey.
They did a surprise.
That was their opening night, I think.
Caleb
right?
was there. Yeah.
Yeah, they let like 100 people in. They played the Whiskey A Go-Go, and super cool.
Wow. So you ever go across the street there to the Viper Room?
No, but the best time to go to the Viper Room, I think on Monday night, they have their open mic night. And I know guys, a lot of different guys go there on Mondays. And that's kind of where Steel Panther kind of all got together. I mean, maybe like 15 years ago, all those Steel Panther dudes would go jam at the Viper on Monday nights and, play a couple songs. So that would be really fun to, if you're ever on the Sunset Strip on a Monday night, go to the Viper Room and write your name on the list at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So you get a shot to play Because if I could go in the Viper Room and just play bass and play like Sin City or an AC/DC song or something, just one song is all I need with whoever happens to be out there that day. You know, that'd be so fun.
I've
That's
been
cool.
there. Well, I've been there. I went and saw my friend's band play there one time, but that place is tiny.
Yeah.
That stage, it's like when our friends band, when they were done, they would load their gear out, and they had to load out onto the street, and all their gear was on the wall of the sidewalk outside, and
yeah, the whiskey's the same way.
so small, and the whiskey is literally across the street. It's across the street and it's a little ways up.
Yeah,
but you can see it. You can see it from there.
And then a little ways up from there is the Roxy
Mhm.
and the Rainbow Room, which is a restaurant.
Mhm.
But the Rainbow Room, twice a year, they have what they call their backyard party. And so they actually use the parking lot. The Roxy and the Rainbow Room are like side by side. And there's a little tiny parking lot behind the Roxy that they use, and they set up a stage back there. So twice a year on Labor Day weekend and on Memorial Day weekend, they have the Rainbow Room backyard party. And they only book like hair metal bands. So it's always Dokken or LA Guns or the Lynch Mob or Kicks or, that style of stuff,
Uh-huh.
And I've gone to one of those.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
There must be a lot of those old, bands like that, the Kicks and stuff like that, who were, well, I mean, bands like Kicks or the ones that really maybe had one hit, but there were so many of those hair bands back in, the late 80s, early 90s that, and so many of them, had one hit, so there must be a lot of those guys around that are still out there, playing those clubs that are in the LA clubs. And
dude,
if I went to LA, that's something I'd go look for. I mean, I'd love to go see one of those old.
It wasn't just LA. It wasn't just LA. It was all over the country. When that style of music was the thing.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
When I lived in Nebraska,
sure,
in the 80s, I mean, I was a kid, but I would sneak into bars or hang out or whatever. And I would see, that style of bands, playing, and they, like the same thing.
Even that's what every bar band was back then. It was that was what was popular, what was selling. And if you were going to see a band in a bar, they were playing Poison and they were singing, Motley Crue and Def Leppard and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just like today.
Yeah. So the last time I was out at the Rainbow Room, I saw these guys. Enough's Enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Enough's Enough.
Cool.
I saw Enough's Enough.
I think I saw them open for AC/DC in 91.
And they brought up strippers on stage and stuff like that. And then my pictures in my phone are really bad. But I saw on the same night, can you guess who that is?
Steve Piercy?
No, it's Bang Tango.
Oh.
So like you said, some of those, they had one song kind of thing. Bang Tango was good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there were so many of them. I mean, Firehouse and, Vixen, Trickster.
Yeah, this girl. Her band, I think this girl was called
Trixon.
Vixter. You remember Vixter?
All the W's, Winger, Warrant, White Snake. White Snake was big, but nice.
And this girl, I think,
what
called
let's
Headshot.
What?
And she used to hang out with Lemmy at the Rainbow Room.
You can't see her face.
Oh, my phone. Come back. Okay. But she told a quick little story when she was playing that she would hang out with Lemmy right there at the Rainbow Room. And she goes, Lemmy, will you write a song for me? And so Lemmy pulled out his piece of the next day. He showed up back at the Rainbow, and there she was. And he penned some quick lyrics. And as they performed the song, and it had the name of the song was something to the effect of "I want to fuck the shit out of you" or something.
Oh,
Song Lemmy wrote for her. Yeah.
oh my god.
And they performed it. So yeah, Lemmy co-wrote a song.
Oh, you mean they performed the song?
Yeah. Lemmy wrote lyrics for her, and her band recorded the song. Okay, and this girl was also on the bill that night. You guys might remember Bow Wow Wow.
Oh, sure. They did. What was it? I Want Candy?
Yeah.
And she was 12 years old when she sang that,
She
I
was
think.
12 years old. And now this was 2018, and she is drop dead gorgeous.
Well, she's got to be our age by now.
Yeah. But if you look at, I got a shot
29?
of the bass player, and
Exactly.
it kind of cracks me up. Let me zoom in on their bass player, because this is what the rest of us are looking like.
Oh, God. And he's probably the original bass player.
Band.
Yeah.
But she, it was kind of a hot day out there that day, and she had a nice little,
Yeah.
kind of glistening. Yeah, she was sweaty, and it was kind of glistening on her skin, and she had a beautiful tan. And I don't think she speaks English.
Where are they from? Were they Swedish or something?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, like you said, when they did that album cover, and she was naked on the album cover, like on the beach or something, and they had all this, like, she was covered in body makeup, like bronze body stuff or whatever. But that was a very controversial album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was 14 years old and she was naked on the cover.
Well, what was it? What's the Eric Clapton album? Not Jefferson Airplane. What am I thinking of? Somebody help me in the chat.
What?
There's an Eric Clapton.
You're well, don't show it. Don't show it.
I'm not
show
showing
it.
anything.
You're talking about I know who you're talking about.
Blind Faith.
Blind Faith, yeah. Yeah.
There's a long history of underage girls on album covers.
Right. The Blind Faith, I think that was Steve Winwood's daughter, or it was one of the guys, it was their daughter.
Honey, you want to be on our album cover?
Yeah, be on the album cover.
All right, take your top off.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. The history that's out there on that street, it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been over there. I've seen it. There's definitely vibes that you get, from those places.
Yeah.
You can imagine it back in the in its heyday, when Motley Crue was out there playing, the small clubs and everything like that. Not that it was never my scene, but it was like, they're that era. I mean, it was the place to be.
It was, from what I've heard, it was really cutthroat. If you were able to actually get a gig in one of those bars and had a relatively good time slot, that was big, because
and then they were all competing for it. Once that style of music blew up, I think in the early 80s, with bands like Quiet Riot and stuff like that, that were some of the earlier ones that came through there, and
Faster Pussycat, and
then I think, who was the first? Quiet Riot, or maybe it was Motley Crue that was the first to break out of that. It was Quiet Riot. Got their record deal, and and then they started signing bands left and right. So it was probably very competitive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look at the decline of Western civilization or whatever.
Sure.
The first, well, there was a couple of those.
That's the perfect movie.
That first one.
The
Look
first
at that first one. That tells you exactly what was going on over there.
That LA scene.
Exactly. And the guy that's like, hey, I know I'm gonna make it. And who was that?
Well, there was Chris Holmes. That's the one that I remember. In
That's
the pool.
in the pool, chugging vodka and
with his mom.
But I think
his mom is right
there
watching him.
And a lot of the guys, they did drink a lot, they did smoke a lot, and they snorted a lot. But that was also their persona. That was the image that they were trying to put out to the world.
Yeah, and that's the story behind the Chris Holmes thing as well.
It was a facade.
Yeah.
Not all of them were that freaking drunk every minute of the day,
Yeah.
Well, you can't function.
Right.
It's like you look at I remember the perfect example is the Guns N' Roses, like Slash. It was Slash and Izzy on like the cover of Guitar World, and it's them, and it's just them with their Les Pauls and cassette tapes or whatever,
Jack Daniels,
and then huge things of vodka and orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a couple sips of that, and you're gone. So, I mean, I don't.
Well, have you seen the Duff McKagan documentary? That's a great one, and he's this is maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's kind of revolves around he's doing a show like in LA, like a real show, and he's got like an acoustic band behind him, and he's telling stories.
I think you said something about this.
Yeah, and they do the whole thing, all the stories he's telling, they animate, so they it's an animated history of Duff McKagan, and when he was he would telling stories about kind of waking up in the middle of the Tokyo Dome with 50,000 people and just being like he doesn't know where he is. He just like, where am I?
Waking up in the middle of a song.
That's it, exactly.
Oh no!
Whoa, you all right, Dane?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I don't know if you're getting attacked over there.
It's all white.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder how a lot of those guys got through those early, those, even somebody like Ed, or that Alex and Ed in 1986, how they got through that tour. Some of the stories from that. It's crazy.
Well, as far as 1986, that thing that you did, I don't know if you're going to release that because I'm
going to do a better job on it, but
well, no, because it's all
it's all copyrighted too.
All copyrighted stuff, but it was cool. Some of that footage.
It's in the Discord if you
I hadn't seen, for a long time, and to see some of that.
It's the coolest part is the part that wasn't in either Live Without a Net or the MTV, and he just for 30 seconds he talks to the crowd and he's like, all right, let's just take a break, shut off the cameras. Not what you've seen in Live Without a Net where he says but he's just like, thank you, and he thanks the crowd for just being really cool that night and dealing with, obviously we're talking about the Live Without a Net, and then their MTV was filming that same night or shooting video that same night. And they it was for the Video Music Awards, which was a couple days later, so they videotaped it on the same night as Live Without a Net, and at the Video Music Awards a few days later they played 2 songs, but it's cool kind of in the middle of that Sammy just says, thank you New Haven for putting up with all this. Obviously it was a lot going on that night, and the extra lights, apparently the crowd was very well lit, and it was a bright show, obviously, and they put other lights on the audience for that night. But it's just, check it out. It's on the Discord if you want it at some point after this. So I put the mashup of, you get the Live Without a Net video and then the MTV video playing the same time.
The MT video.
MT video. The empty video.
Empty video.
Mm-hmm. So.
I used to have at my store, I had these 2 amplifier, full stack, empty amplifier cabinets, but they had TV monitors in the top. And I tapped them both together, and I had an old, believe it or not, a VHS player. It was a DVD player. And I had Live Without a Net DVD, and I would just let that roll all day long in my store.
This one?
Awesome.
Yes. And so I watched that, and after a while, man, I would turn it down to like, -1. So you could barely hear it. But yeah, I let that roll for about 2 or 3 months at my store every day.
And we also recently came to the solve the mystery of the Live Without a Net Easter egg that I discovered a couple of years ago. There was a video. If you have the Live Without a Net DVD, you put it in your computer and you open up the disc itself, and there's a couple of little files. There's one little file that's I think 90 megabytes or something like that, and it's just a silent clip of a band. But it's a music video. It turns out it's a music video, and it's the band called Guster, a band from my area, from Boston area, and they're playing. They're all like kind of riding their different forms of transportation. Like one's riding a bike, one's walking, and one's driving this little mini car. And they're all driving to this gig, and it's in Amsterdam, in front of the big cathedral in Amsterdam. So I found out by watching the video, I found out where in Amsterdam they were. I tracked it down, and then I did a couple searches on Google, and I found out it was, again, it's in Discord. But it's for some reason they put a Guster video on Live Without a Net as an Easter egg. So
Guster.
Yep.
But there was no sound, right?
There was no sound, and
there's no audio, so it's really weird.
So, but the thing that ties both of them together is that it was Amsterdam, and the brothers are from that area, the Dutch boys, Amsterdam, Netherlands area.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Who knows?
Hey, Laverna 595. Hope you're okay. Saying hello from the hospital. Although, I don't know. The Discord, old metal dude. There's the link for the Discord right there. It's just a really cool place where we post like subjects and topics that we talk about on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say, John Biel was just talking about. I don't know what you were just saying. Whatever that was, video. Whatever he was talking about, that'll be in the Discord. Like you'll see like. Clips of that.
There's different text channels that are Live Without a Net, and Eddie Van Halen and Van Halen photos, videos, and
all different stuff.
Johnny Beane live and all that stuff. So
all different things. All different things.
Huge rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, and hey, the amazing drop. That's John Biel, the guy from Boston, right?
Who's that?
Are you're in Boston?
I'm
right?
just north of Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the Discord. Well, it's all right. It's there's a lot of cool information there, a lot of cool links in there. Stories.
It's a cool
yeah, I mean people just don't get it. I don't know.
What would you call it?
It's a social media kind of thing.
It's a site, but it's a cool little hangout. It's a cool place just to go and hang out because there's rooms and you can like do like voice chat in there. You can actually do video chats with people. I
think a lot of gamers use it, and that's where it gets kind of and people have kind of online fights and stuff and arguments and stuff.
You guys can fight in there if you want. It's all good.
But that's the good thing about Johnny's channel is that everybody kind of gets along and everybody shares their cool stories and gear and everything else. So it's fun to look at that stuff.
Yeah.
Explore it.
Click on that link, put in if you guys missed it, anybody can type this in the chat. Type !ding, DING. And that'll pull up the link for the Discord.
Where's my ding? Where's my dong? There's the ding.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, check it out. It's
no metal soda, not dong. Ding.
Yeah.
I don't think dong will do anything.
Well, Hopefully that doesn't pull anything up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So John BL, I mean, it's up to you. I know what we're looking at time wise.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m. here. I do have an unboxing. I can do that though. I have it's actually an untubing.
Oh, an untubing. Well,
An
it's
untubing.
not a dong, is it?
No.
It's
I hope not. I don't know. We'll see what we got. But we should do that before it is very
it's up to you because I know
early and late,
we started later tonight, and normally we would end about now.
Yeah, well, we can do a few more. We can definitely. I'll do my unboxing, and we'll do a little bit more.
Yeah, we can sit here as long as you want. You know.
Well, let's see what I got.
Fine. Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna get a refill.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, I'll do that.
I'll slowly unbox this. This is an eBay win. $5 right here. $5, and get to listen to the whole unboxing here. All right. All right. See if I can get the little plug out here. Yay. A piece of plastic. I'm aware this is a used item and probably well used considering what it is. And I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but actually it looks very it's obviously a poster. And I think I previewed it last week a little bit. So here we go. I think it's Swedish, maybe, but it's a what was it? Number 117. It's just called the Van Halen Collage, printed in Switzerland. But it's got some cool photos. This one on the bottom was kind of cool. A double exposure with Ed against the.
Oh yeah, man.
So
I've got that. I have an act. Well, I don't have that poster, but that double exposure picture right there.
Yeah.
I have the actual picture of that.
Oh really? Look at this. This obviously, like I was saying, this is somebody had this hanging on their wall years ago and everything. But it's actually in pretty good shape. I'll put it in a frame and. Maybe I'll throw it back there.
Oh, the one on the top there. Yeah, that one. I've got that one as well, like an actual photograph.
I think some of them are Zlozauer pictures, probably. I could probably find in the book over there, but $5, literally. This was a $5 eBay win, so free shipping, $5. So that's all I paid for this. So you too can find some good deals on eBay still.
Awesome, man.
I'm still waiting for my complete copy of my Encyclopedia of Rock. That's coming in the mail. Another $5, or I think it was like $4.72 or something like that I won it for.
4 cents.
But now, I mean, especially books nowadays, you can find some. Another one, I've showed you guys these one. This was another one that one of the books that growing up. It was, I had a copy of it. I think I got it at the high school library. They had two of them. They had a hardcover and a soft cover. And when I was graduating, I asked them, I'm like, you have 2 copies of this. Can I take one? And they let me have it. So,
wow.
So yeah. But anyway.
Metal Soda. Nedward is here.
You ever seen this one?
Right.
Which one is that? The Book of Rock.
Yeah, this
Cool.
thing massive.
Oh wow. Jeez, yeah.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Book of Rock. Grand Funk Railroad.
Hawkwind. Oh.
Wow.
Emmylou Harris.
Lemmy was in Hawkwind.
Hawkwind and Marillion.
MC5.
This, I mean, I literally, and I'm sure you as well, Dane. I mean, I studied these books. You know, this one. The best thing about this one is it's got the whole family trees of all the different genres, and a lot of them are gone. This is new wave in this case, but
Yeah.
it really goes in depth. You know, so when I get the new one, I'll show you guys, because there was like the whole LA scene, and then you know, the Van Halen one's long gone that I probably tore out years ago. California country rock. If you didn't know, it started with the Hillmen in 1962. And then it ended with Crosby, Stills, and Nash in 1977. Not really, but anyway.
Did you say Cosby?
Bill Cosby with with Graham Nash and Stephen Stills.
I was going to do a little parody song. You know how guys do parody songs? So you know the song, I Smell Sex and Candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
My parody was going to be, I Had Sex with Cosby.
Oh my god.
It's a hit, man.
Well, and that'll be giving that's basically giving consent, you know, unless you change the lyrics a little bit.
That's the only line of the song I've written so far. The whole Cosby thing, it's kind of, you know, nobody cares anymore.
That's right. Yeah, Metal Soda. Yeah, that name. I couldn't stop laughing the first time I ever heard that one.
I see Guitar Hack's on here with us.
Guitar Hack, what up, dude?
Somebody's asking if this is a Pete Frames book. I don't know, but it's the Harmony Illustrated Encyclopedia of Rock. There was several editions. This was like the,
Hey,
I think
Simon.
this was the 1989 edition. So it's actually, what, 30 years old now?
Wow.
Jeez, I know we're old.
I'm
old. I'll take the blame. I'm old.
I got a birthday coming up on the 22nd.
Oh, really? I'm
a birthday baby, man. It's not a good time to have
Christmas baby.
I'm
Yeah.
a Christmas baby. I would always joke that I got one shoe on my birthday and the other one on Christmas.
Yeah. My aunt, she's December 24th.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Imagine having your birthday on December 25th, though.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Nowadays, I don't care. I don't get anything for my birthday anyway. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten anything in years.
Hey,
or Christmas for that matter. Really, you know.
No.
I
Nothing.
remember when I was a little kid, though, maybe 8 years old or something. My mom actually threw me a birthday party in the middle of summer, so that was kind of neat.
Oh yeah,
I remember
that's
that.
cool. That's nice. Yeah.
I don't remember much, but I do remember that.
Metal Soda says his birthday's on the 23rd. Yeah. Well, it happens.
Imagine having your birthday December 26th.
Imagine having your birthday February 29th.
When you're talking about those dates, it's tough to have a birthday, but it's also tough to play a gig. You always get, when you're an up-and-coming band, it always seems like they want to hire you for like the Friday after Thanksgiving, like Thanksgiving weekend, or the following weekend after New Year's Eve, the next Friday. You know, everybody's already burnt out. They just had New Year's Eve, you know, last week, New Year's Day, all that. And I used to get stuck playing a lot of shows on some of those really bad holidays. Memorial Day weekend is a tough one too. You're like, hey, we got a gig. It's Memorial Day weekend. And then, you know, everybody goes out of town that weekend. And
Everybody goes to the US Festival.
yeah.
Imagine having your birthday. Imagine your birthday is on October 31st. And so all you get for your birthday is candy.
I know, girl. I know.
That would be a good birthday, actually.
My ex-wife, her best friend, her name's Kelly, and her birthday is October 31st. And she would have a huge birthday / Halloween party.
I'm sure she loved all of that Halloween stuff.
She had a really good time with that for many
Birthday slasher.
My
Slasher
daughter,
Halloween.
my daughter's birthday is February. Well, it's on Super Bowl weekend. Yeah, and I would always tell her, "Hey, let's have a birthday party, Super Bowl party in one." And I thought that was a great idea. She hated that idea.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, if like I've never been into football or any of that, but I'd imagine if the Super Bowl was like totally awesome to me and it was my birthday, that would be that could be a great
you make
combination.
of it, yeah. You make something. You make something of it as it is. My birthday is actually tax day, so I go to the bank on my birthday.
15.
Or the post office.
Everybody's like, "Man, I'm sorry, I couldn't really buy you a present this year. My taxes were due." And
no, it's like pay my taxes. It's my birthday.
So what does that cake look like?
When I used to have a cake, my mom would make some really cool cakes, like an R2D2 cake. I think there's some pictures of that one when I was really young, a fire engine. So I had some cool cakes.
February 29th is a tough birthday because
or Easter too, because Easter
we have one every 4 years. Although next year it's leap year again, 2020. There will be a February 29th coming up.
There you go.
So wait a minute. If your birthday is only one every 4 years, that means you only age every 4 years.
Exactly right.
And you only have a birthday every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, leap year people say,
that's why you're 29 every time.
Exactly.
But
well,
then you're 20.
Was it every 4? So divide your age by 4. So I'm, like 10
It's
years
like
old.
minus dog years, kind of. Dog years is like you add 7 years, or every year is like 7 years to a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howie was over 100.
But that would be,
he was like 100 and something.
Yeah.
And I love you, Howie. I miss you, Howie. Fruitcake Tony, good night, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, we can probably wind things down.
You mean get the wine out?
I could probably use some sleep actually, but thank you all for hanging in there, and thank you for we got 56 watching now, and I know we started late. It's late where I am, and it's kind of a low key weekend. We're just chilling out. It's good though. But thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I'm winding down with my dinner. I'm eating popcorn.
Yeah,
that's my dinner. I had a burrito earlier and then passed out, and then I went and saw Evita. I went to a community, one of the local colleges in the area. Went to a production of Evita tonight, and that's where I was, and that's why we're late, because I had to come back.
Because you had to see Evita.
Did you have like the Madonna image in your head during it? And
that's all I know of Evita is
kind
Madonna.
of.
Yeah, Madonna.
I mean, was that was a movie, right?
Yeah, that was.
And the whole "Don't Cry for Me," Argentina song and all that. Yeah.
Oh, I heard that twice tonight because they sing that twice during the show. I'm probably gonna have to watch that movie now. Actually.
And then there was another one too that was, I don't know, was it? Maybe I'm thinking of. There was like a South American version, like a Latino version of Evita.
Oh, I'm sure there's been tons of them.
Because didn't it take place? Wasn't it like a Latino movie, or doesn't it take place in? Was it South America? I don't know.
Argentina.
Where was it? Argentina.
They
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
They think about Argentina the entire time.
South America. I have a girlfriend,
and it took place. The actual thing took place. What? Back
early,
in the,
like in the 20s or something, or the 40s or something.
In the 40s, or
40s, I think.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend and she moved to New York. She broke up with me. She moved to New York. She met this guy that lived from Brazil. She married this guy so that he could have a green card or however it works. But they together then moved to Santiago, Chile, which is right on the coast of, Argentina, Santiago. And so, I never seen or heard from her, and it's been 10 or 12 years now. But I mean, that's the last I heard. And how cool is that, right? Santiago.
Chile.
Yeah. Super cool. They have a lot of earthquakes down there.
Isn't that the Andes Mountains? The Andes. Chile, Peru, and there's the Incas. I don't know.
Peru. Paddington was from Peru.
That's darkest Peru.
My favorite bear, Paddington.
Paddington. I had a stuffed Paddington when I was a little kid. He had that raincoat, right? Wasn't it in the hat?
Yeah. Yeah, and he liked was it
Marmalade?
Marmalade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. How many thumbs up do we have? Only 35?
It's like 35.
Oh, come on.
Get that.
Come on.
Hit that thumbs up.
It's because of my singing, I think. Got a lot of thumbs down with I had sex with. Yeah.
What band was that?
What were they called?
Was that Caleb's band, Tonic? No, I don't think that was
John
Tonic.
BL.
Tonic had that. If you could only see.
That's right. Yeah, that was Caleb's.
A minor.
He was. They put their.
Having a good song on an A minor chord. Come on. How awesome is that?
Yep.
Yeah, I watched those videos. I watched all that.
Oh, I remember those were like the tail end days of MTV when they actually still played back in the late '90s when they still played videos. People still watched it,
Mm-hmm.
but they were moving over to a lot of the real world shows and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess MTV is still around, but it's all just other stuff now, apparently.
Yeah, if you want to watch videos, you just go to YouTube. Excuse me.
What about VH1? Is VH1 still playing videos and stuff?
No, I think they're all just reality now. I don't know. I mean,
I don't have actual cable TV. I've got a TV set, and all it has is I've got a Roku, and so I can get Netflix and Hulu and
that's
YouTube.
what I need to do.
I can do a lot of stuff. So I haven't had actual TV for years, and I mean literally at least 5 years, at least. So as far as watching an actual cable TV channel, I haven't done that forever.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you if any of that stuff is still on.
I watch YouTube, of course, and Netflix. I watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really, really weird? And I watched all 4 seasons of My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Have you guys watched any of that?
No.
It's really bad, but it's like you said, you just went and saw a play.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, all 4 seasons of this stupid show is based like a musical, like it's like a play. And they'll start singing, and they kick into song like twice every episode. And I would fast forward over the songs. But yeah, I watched all 4 seasons of that. And then I watched. I'm into the 5th season of Schitt's Creek. Yeah, you guys seen that?
No.
It's not bad. It's what's the guy's name? It's the old man that played the dad on American Pie. You remember the American Pie movie?
Oh yeah.
Eugene Levy.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in that.
SGTV.
That's right.
Yeah, and he was some big millionaire thing, and he ran his own chain of video stores like Blockbuster or something. And he becomes bankrupt, and him and his family moved to a little tiny town that's called Schitt's Creek, but they spell it Schitts or something. And so they're basically up Schitt's Creek. And they're living in a little motel. And he owns the town.
You okay, John?
You know,
Man.
little tiny
Sorry.
his kids and his wife are living in this little hotel in a little town, and that's what that.
I did finally see The Mandalorian. Have you
I mean,
guys
seasons of that.
seen that?
I have not seen it, although I need to, because I think I told you last week, I know 2 people that have been on that. My old
It's good. It is really good. I'm so far.
my old what do you call it? I used to train with him. He was like my my trainer for working out. He was just on that. And then a friend of mine who I see him at NAMM every year, a friend of mine, I see him all the time, and we always talk.
There's a lot of cameos, a lot of celebrities, that you wouldn't like. Werner Herzog is in it, and like Amy Sedaris. They're all people who you've all heard of, and you'll recognize them right away. But who's Nick Nolte is in it?
Really?
Yeah, is it Nick Nolte? He's kind of he's the one who has that like prison photo of him, right? And he's all like, his hair is all crazy. Nick Nolte, and who else? There's a bunch of them. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, but it's cool. It's a good series.
I'd like to see it, but I don't have Disney,
right?
whatever that is.
Well, you can always find a way. I'll just
Uh-oh.
say that. But yeah,
I got halfway through that documentary on Laurel Canyon. So all those guys that live in Laurel Canyon, and in the late 60s, they created their own little sound, which was the Byrds and, Tom Petty and all these artists, the guys from the Eagles and all these guys. I got about halfway through that documentary on Netflix.
Was it pretty good?
Is that a newer one, or?
It's a newer one.
I haven't seen that one, but
Laurel Canyon, I think.
Oh, cool! I'll have to check that out.
Mm-hmm. And it's just this little town, 20 minutes north of LA, and the musicians used to hang out there, and they would live up there.
Dylan, Linda Ronstadt was big in Jackson Brown. Right,
Jackson Brown was huge, and all those guys they were on Arista Records and the Virgin Records guy. What was his name?
Ned.
That started Virgin Records and owned all that.
I know who you're talking about. I know. I can't think of his name though.
And Virgin Airlines and all that.
Yeah. Not Murdoch.
You're talking about
the billionaire guy.
And he ran the record label.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
There he goes. I know who you're talking about. Well, the chat will know. Yeah, Branson.
There you go.
Rich Branson.
Cubic Lover. Thank you. Yeah.
Wasn't he the one who got lost in the desert or something? Who was the billionaire that got lost in the desert like 10 years ago?
Who was the guy that jumped out of the spaceship and like parachuted all the way down miles and miles? Was that Richard Branson that did that?
You might be right. The Red Bull. It was like the Red Bull challenge or something.
Literally in outer space. It took him like a half an hour to come down.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I saw that video. Metalhead hippie. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ned's eating popcorn off the floor.
Floor popcorn.
Floor corn.
Yeah.
I got this guy that lives next door to me, and there's about 10 cats all the time in and out of his house. And I took over today, even though it's raining outside, all the leftovers from the turkey, which I in the turkey. She put them in this big dish, and it started to kind of smell funny when I opened it up today.
Oh,
Like I'm not.
Yeah, it's been over a week, so
yeah, it's been too long. But even though it was sealed in the refrigerator, I'm like, I'm still not going to eat this. I took it next door and I laid it out in the driveway for all my neighbor cats.
Well, the cats will enjoy it.
And yeah, even though it's been raining all day here, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I threw out my leftover turkey a couple days ago. There was a couple pieces left, and I wasn't about to eat that.
No.
After like 3 days is about my limit. It's no good after that.
Well, after 20 sandwiches.
I mean, yeah, you could certainly stretch it, but yeah,
Stretch the turkey.
stretch it and put a whole lot of
Have you been stretching the turkey?
bread. No, oh god, I haven't heard that one before.
No, but you know what? My next door neighbor, and it's kind of a sad story because he's a hoarder. He's a really bad hoarders. If there was an episode of Hoarders, they should go next door to where I live, right on the other side of this window here, this wall. And you know what he hoards, though? He doesn't hoard old motorcycle parts or, guitar amps or anything. He literally hoards trash.
Yeah.
In his driveway, his carport. And we've all, we have code enforcement. We have plenty of laws, and he's been ticketed and so many citations. And he pretty much has the city of Chandler, Arizona, where I live, convinced that he has a mental illness. And so I've called and I said, hey, man, there's all this trash everywhere. And what if there's a fire and all this stuff? And the fire department said, if there's a fire, we'll be at your house in 3 minutes. So don't worry about it. And code enforcement's telling me, hey, do you want to put your neighbor in jail? He's a nice old man, but he just goes out every day on his bicycle. He dumpster dives and he brings trash home and throws it in his driveway. And there's a lot of times where he sleeps out in his carport because there isn't any room inside his house for him to actually lay down because it's completely piled full of trash. It's a very crazy situation. I leave him alone. I don't want to, create waves. But yeah, it's pretty disgusting. It's a real problem. And I told him about a month ago, I'm like, because he's literally sleeping in his driveway out in his carport. And I'm like, man, you're like the only homeless person I know that actually has a house.
Yeah. That's what it gets to. I mean, I've seen it on not only like hoarders and stuff, but like American pickers, they go into that kind of place.
You know what? I help him feed his cat because he's got no money. I don't think he works. I think his brothers bought him that house because I think he's had this problem. It's an illness. It definitely is an illness. And so I'm nice enough, and my girlfriend's really nice to the guy, and we took him a plate of Thanksgiving dinner and everything, and I feed his cats, and I figure if anything, they're keeping the rats away.
Yeah.
Well, what if he wants to hoard those?
I know, right?
Well, there's probably, if he's a hoarder, there's probably a whole colony of rats that are living in there somewhere.
Not with all those cats he has.
Oh, well, yeah. What did you say? He has 10 cats or something?
But there's nothing I can do now. There's been a bunch of times where the city, or there's been a realtor because the house across the street was up for sale. And the realtors actually made him clean everything out of his front carport. And he just hauled everything into his backyard.
Yeah.
He's just got piles of stuff in his backyard. And it is a fire hazard. But when he moves out, when he moves out, they're going to have to condemn that house next door to me.
Right. Yeah, sometimes they just have to tear it down if it's such a bad situation.
I know. And it's getting there.
I knew a guy that I think he was a hoarder because his car was just full of like trash, like all the way filled up.
Yeah, every once in a while you see those people who were basically living out of their car and it's just packed with trash. Everything. But. Yeah,
and it's definitely it's an illness.
Yeah,
and it's something that I don't know.
But you know what? My daughter and my grandson, I flew my daughter in. I think I might have told you guys, but my daughter lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I flew her in for Thanksgiving. And I have a little 4-year-old grandson, and boy, he's a cool little kid. And he was walking out there and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Trash Man, clean up your junk." Or
Oh, jeez. No filter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's got no filter. And the old man next door says, "These are collectibles." And he goes, "No, it's not. It's trash."
Oh no! Was he 4? Did you say he's 4 years old?
My little 4-year-old.
Oh my goodness! He already knows.
With him.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've lived next to him for at least 10 years now. And so he's been doing it this long.
Wow.
And once in a while, his family members will show up and clean the place. And then he just lets it get right back to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man.
But there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, hey, we're at 2 hours. I'm pretty good. So if I don't know if you guys want to keep it going, you can. But I'm
Oh man.
about ready to drop out.
Oh, I'm good. I'm thinking about watching that skateboard documentary from 1978.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Peter's in there, man. He lives in Phoenix now. A really cool band. Punk rockers.
We'll have to check it out. Yeah, it's in the Discord. So if you guys want to go over there, we could use some more Discord members.
Definitely.
There's the link to the Discord right there. Check that out. Join up. Click on the Johnny Beane TV section on the left-hand side, and you'll see a documentary sitting there about skateboarding 1978. Looks pretty cool. I think I'm gonna actually sit here and look at that for a while. But thank you, John Biel, man.
Thank you. You're welcome. For what?
Thank you, dude. Well,
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for everything.
Straturday night, man.
Yeah, man.
And again, sorry, I was a little late, but I was watching Evita.
It's all good.
It was a good. It was good. It was good.
I will say those theater companies, any kind of a local theater, they really do put a lot into those shows. And if you have a local theater, I worked with them, and it's all volunteer, but they're good people, and they definitely put a lot of work into those productions. As much as they're little small town things, but support your local theater.
Yes.
And support Johnny Beane as well. Support Johnny Beane and tune in. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah. And thank you everybody about Howie. The messages I got, I can't tell you how many messages and comments I gotta reply to and thank everybody.
He will be missed.
It's been insane. Oh, I'm feeling it.
I'm sure, man.
I told you I'm feeling withdrawals.
Oh yeah, man.
Which is kind of a weird feeling, but it's 17 years of having your best friend with you, and they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Absolutely.
I know he's in a better place now. I know that, and so wherever he is, I want him to be happy. That's the one thing, and I know
it's the most important. Yeah.
He's got to be happier now than how he was feeling. So,
God bless Howie. What a great pup. It's always good to see him.
Yes, and yeah, actually, I did do a. Let me type it in. That should be a link right there to his. There we go. There's his playlist on the channel here. Man, look at that. Nice hat, man.
Oh, jeez.
Why do I have a Coca-Cola hat? How weird is this?
Man. Did you go get that from your neighbor?
Oh.
I don't recall where this thing came from.
Wow.
Wow, that's quite a.
I don't know what to say.
It's starting to hurt my neck.
Oh, yeah, it looks heavy.
Jeez.
Product placement.
Oh yeah.
Sponsored by.
Ah, I
Sponsored
wish.
by Coca-Cola.
Man, that'd be awesome. Thank you guys, Kubrick Lover 72. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Nightbot has scroll up a little bit. There's a playlist, a bunch of Howie's videos on the channel here. There's at least something like 200 videos
Mm-hmm.
you guys can check out. All very short, So, all right. Well, Zim's Guitars, Dane, great to see you, man.
Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Awesome.
Thanks for jumping in, Dane.
Thanks for jumping in. Awesome stories. Congratulations on your gig recently and then coming up again.
Thanks.
Very cool. Very cool. And
Thank you, Johnny. Always.
Thank you, man. Always.
See you in the Discord. Ding, ding. And thanks to everyone out there. Thanks. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Good night, all.